Okay, so welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am Shawn, and pulled another surprise on everybody this week with the show coming out on Tuesday. Still always going to shoot for Mondays, but due to different, a lot has to come together. It's like putting a final piece of a 1,000 piece jigsaw puzzle in to complete the entire work of art. And pretty much that's what we try to bring you here is a work of art. I'm just fortunate that I get to sit behind cameras that are, state of the art equipment, and instead of a lot of people, probably sitting behind with their child's phone on a tripod doing their podcast. But hey, lately those cameras aren't too bad, are they? But the crew I have is fantastic, so I always will take the blame in the end. The blame stops here. So we'll keep always trying to bring you a better show. But the whole key is to try to bring you a show every week. So it's amazing how quickly a lot of you spot it. I know. By the way, subscribe. And that way you'll be notified when the show posts, or you can also check under the community section where there's comments and where we'll post up any delays when we get, sometimes we miss out on doing that as well. But anyway, you got to see me, and that's what counts. Now, because of that delay, there's a limited number of answers to the trivia question and just 3 comments, and all 3 of you got the answers right. So we had let me just go to it and start the comments, and then I'll explain the rest in just a moment. All right, so Cindy in Pennsylvania says, hello, Rock family. Awesome show, Shawn. Very nice specimens. Nothing too exciting happening here, and I'm okay with that. Aren't we all? It's like the vacation that you really wanted to have was the one afterwards where you come home and you sit and do nothing for a prolonged number of days. That is really, in the end, a real vacation, because that's just stepping away from the hustle and bustle of daily life. And, at my age of 62, if I ever thought, going way back, that this was going to be sometime that was supposed to be easier, I haven't found that to be the case. So a lot of different struggles still to have, but what is always around me are my rocks and minerals, which, and the wonderful ability to cut gems, to saw slabs, to partake in a hobby that I have done since the age of 11, and that is some great therapy, as I'm sure a lot of you can attest and agree with that. As we're going to find out in a comment from Anthony in just a minute. So Miss Cindy says, so the answers were, without me looking back on the page, just going from memory, name the 2 types of jade that the names are used in the marketplace, and the answer, of course, being jadeite and nephrite. Then it was name the type of oyster that the saltwater pearl, most common saltwater pearl, is used to cultivate them, and the answer, of course, being koya. So Miss Cindy, in all of her wiseness, got them right. I wish for a good week ahead for all. Take care. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts. So listen to what he says. And I think it probably is the way all of you feel, because of the uniqueness of this show. And let me just preface what he says by, when this show was initially created, the intent was to have it a little bit more community oriented, and where there was a little bit more time for education, and so not so much show and sell, but a little bit of more show and tell. And we have stuck to that by using the trivia as a way to keep everybody associated personally with the show, to draw in your comments. Now, that doesn't mean those of you have to answer the trivia to leave a comment. Boy, anything rocks and minerals, we'll eat it up, and no answers. And like Brad had notated when he was answering a trivia, or maybe it was asking me, but he used a quote that I've said, and that is, there's no such thing as a guess. They're always, to some extent, an educated answer, educated based on whatever level it is. So, I never look at it as someone guessing. I never look at a guess whether, you're judged on that. Oh my, there are so many easy answers now that I often forget the answer to, that I certainly could never judge anyone when it comes to getting an answer wrong. But the trivia was just a way to get everyone to come back and become a community, and also, if you wanted to partake in listening and seeing how much you can recall from a show, and then answering the trivia as part of the learning process, well, that's fantastic as well. The gifts aren't menial. In other words, a lot of them, really all of them, are worth winning. And many of you have won dozens of them over the years. So with that said, let's read what Anthony in Massachusetts has to say. Hello, all. Great show. Those are some nice moonstones. Plenty of potential for some interesting cut stone picks to follow. Thank you. Yeah, because Anthony last week or the other week won the trivia, and it was moonstones and the story of how I collected them off of Lake Lanier. I know exactly the place they came from. Hall County, Gainesville is how it would read. Lake Lanier, Georgia, and on the banks when the lake was really far down. A big moonstone or feldspar outcropping that I spotted, I don't know, easily a mile away in a canoe, and as the light reflected off of it, and headed to it. So it was a neat story. I collected a lot of moonstone at the time, but it seems like over the years, it's, you use it up, so to speak, giving it to friends or sharing it or tumbling it. Now, I thought I did a really great job tumbling that moonstone. If you ever want to see what a really nice polish on a hardness of 6 that aluminum oxide will do. Aluminum oxide being Al2O3. If that sounds familiar, well, it should. That is the chemical formula for a corundum hardness of 9. So it's called Lindy A and different names, but it's still all the same thing, aluminum oxide. So you can get a really nice finish using that material when you're dealing with a hardness of only 6. It polishes up really quickly. So the moonstone that he won absolutely has some stunning colors, some stunning areas of quality, and it was neat for me to be able to actually find something that of cutting grade material. Of course, I wish it would be something aquamarine or something like that, but to find anything like that of cutting grade material that would be considered, semi-precious anyway, is a neat discovery and a neat way that I had found it. All right, so he goes on. Anthony goes on and addresses Harry, who, remember last week, Harry wrote that he hasn't communicated as often because he just felt like he didn't have enough money and I think it, as we always wish for something that, it's difficult to watch things that we can't necessarily afford. But of course, Harry, we want it more to be about you just being part of the family and taking in the education, and a purchase is never required to participate. And so Mr. Anthony goes on to say, Harry, for different reasons, and this is just me, I like hearing from all the Rock family. I look forward to it. When one hasn't participated for a while, it's like a hole or something is missing. Like we haven't heard from George in a while, or Ursula. Two big holes and a little worrisome. Anyway, like said, that's just me. I'm selfish that way. Well, Anthony, that is not considered selfish in any way. And I also would love to hear from George. I think George is still around. I think he catches occasional shows, but it's Miss Ursula that I worry about. She was our German expert, being from there, and really had gotten a lot of nice specimens and would have a nice collection. And but I know she had some health issues, it seems. So either one of you out there, please let us hear from you. I know Peggy, we love to hear from you. Just, you don't have to answer trivia, just to say hi. So anyway, there's nothing wrong, Anthony, with what you said, and you probably said what a lot of people feel, how they feel as well. So Anthony goes on to say, I was thinking Navajo when I first saw the turquoise piece you were wearing. It really is stunning. And yes, please, if you have a notion to speak on the subject of Southwest and Native American pieces like the one you are wearing, please do so. Yeah, that was a great piece, and having known the provenance to it, it was made it even more special. And when we didn't get a chance because I didn't take it off, but if we really looked at it and looked at the quality of the turquoise. Now remember, this was a piece that was picked up by Raven's grandmother, and when they were traveling at a young age, and this would have been in the 1930s. So, but especially for those times, they were considered much better off than most everybody in that period. So the piece, the turquoise, this is before all the resin and epoxy and all these combinations of treating and stabilizing turquoise were really scientifically applied to the material. So basically what you mostly got, as in that one, was really nice, genuine turquoise. And Raven, as I do, I like to have matrix in my turquoise. And I'm not even that keen on it being a spider web. I much prefer just kind of mottled, brownish inclusions and other ones. So the patina on that piece really ages and tells you an age to it as well. And that's a piece, when it goes back that far, that you just don't want to sit and polish it all up. I prefer the patina because it kind of is a giveaway right there to at least it being decades old and knowing the provenance of the rest of it. So yeah, maybe I'll bring it back and or wear it again, and then show you all the quality of the turquoise prior to the wave of stabilization and trickery that became the new normal for turquoise. So the other thing is, if I get some pieces or we sell some where, when I can show you, because it's really difficult then if I show you and talk to you about them without being able to offer them, then that would be painful even for me to watch if I was on the other side. So we'll see if we can't come up with something and give you some of the education that goes along with it, on especially on the, how to spot trickery, which there is a lot of in genuine Native American jewelry, unfortunately, as there is in many areas of counterfeiting, in parts of the industry. So on the answers, jadeite, nephrite, and akoya, please omit for any prize. Also got the imperial topaz, which it needed to go to, or anybody that just really loved natural, beautiful imperial topaz. But if you're a cutter, that parcel indeed will, and I'd love to see if you facet from those pink stones a finished gem. I would really love to see a picture of it when you get it done, because it would be something of quite a bit of value, especially since I know for a fact that none of that material is heated or treated in any way. And they do some treatments to the imperials to get some certain colors. So, but that would be a genuine color topaz and quite a piece. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn says, "Hi, Professor, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Well, the show was labeled with Sunday's date, not showed on Monday, but did appear Tuesday at 2 p.m. That's what counts. Guess that's not bad for a Columbus holiday weekend. Nice long show with plenty of stories and goodies. John K's video on Mineral Talks Live will be released to the public in 3 weeks, and I'll be sure to forward it to you since you like him." Yeah, I do like him. I think he's a very educated man. He's a bit old and shaky now, but sharp as a tack, and is mentoring a fine colleague to continue his legacy work. Sent you an article which contains some great pictures of the subway garnet, and boy, I looked at that, the pictures of it. I hadn't seen pictures of it like that. 2 handfuls of crystals is staggering. Yeah, it was a dodecahedron, and it literally took 2 hands. It was 9 pounds. Beautiful shaped crystal, and discovered. They called it a subway garnet because they thought it would sound better than where it was really found, which was in the process of digging sewers in the late 1800s, 1890 something, I think. And it even ended up going through Tiffany's gemologist, of course, at the time, which was George Coons. And so it's now in a museum where it needs to be. But can you imagine? And if there was one garnet, I got to thinking, there had to have been others. So, wow. But there was never any mention of any others. But there would have been. The new halls at AMANH, American Museum of Natural History, also have a 5-foot cross-section slice of a tree, which is all petrified wood, 2 13-foot tall Brazilian amethyst cathedrals, a wall of fluorescent calcite and willemite from Franklin, New Jersey, and the famous Tarugo tourmaline cluster from the Jones mine. Worth a trip if anyone is in NYC, indeed. As to the trivia, 2 kinds of jade are nephrite and jadeite. Akoya are the cold water, saltwater oyster species used by Mikimoto to create cultured pearls. Pearls are a whole discussion unto themselves. Nacreous and non-nacreous, saltwater, freshwater, oyster, clam, mussel, conch, baler shell, flame structure. What an interesting topic. Yep, let's add mabe, blister, and the one you left out, natural pearls, not cultured at all. That form with the technical, what everyone always says was a grain of sand, but often wasn't a grain of sand, any kind of irritant in the center and building from out. The Red Sea used to be one of the, that's why in the crown jewels of, it used to be Persia, but now Iran, are the most amazing natural pearls you've ever seen, and the size. They're from the giant clams, and before the Red Sea became a little bit more polluted than it was, with all the ships passing through. That was a big area to go where you could dive, and the oysters. Remember, this is prior to having scuba diving and oxygen available. So, but it was an area that they were able to go to, and why, as part of the crown jewels, it would make sense for the country that has access to those things to be part of them, and they are quite something. So it's kind of neat to see that in a collection. Yeah, and then when I lived in East Tennessee, I graduated high school in 1979 in Cleveland, Tennessee, which is just like a half hour north, 45 minutes north of Chattanooga on the way to Knoxville. And I was there during the big explosion of the freshwater pearl industry. And for that, they needed the mollusk from the Tennessee River system. And that was and then they were culturing that mollusk to supply the culturing market. And so it was quite, I don't know, I felt like I was really near the excitement, so to speak. But it is interesting, the entire pearl industry. And speaking of fluorescence, pearls, they actually have a fluorescence as well. So, all right, so she finishes with, anyway, enjoy fall and all it brings. It must be fall because pumpkin spice is everywhere. Miss Barbara from Brooklyn. All right, so since the show was cut short time-wise and many of you didn't get a chance to answer the trivia, I hope it's okay with the three of you. All three of you got your answers right. I'm just going to add your three to the pot next week. So you'll have the answer from this week and next week, so you'll have twice the chance to win. And that's probably works out better all the way around, I think, since we had a shortened week. So we'll add those in next week. So we're going to start right off to the first item of the show. We'll be back with that in just a moment. Bringing you the best in color, in gems, and in jewels. Gem Shopping Network. We have got it all for you. All right, so. What was that? Exactly. What was that? I don't know. That just came off the top of my head.
Radio intro.
That's right. That's right. No, clowning around with these guys. We got Asif and Dave here. The classic team. Then bringing you the best in turntable speed. We actually had a turntable. They were messing around with it. We had one, and it started off on fast, and I was cracking up because it was like, all right, let's play Guess the Stone That Flies Off the Turntable First. Anyway, this parcel I have, and I said to Asif, I said, oh, all this time you're taking for a, yeah, you're not going to believe this price, for a on sale parcel of $21. And you know what he said? He goes, I've seen you take that much time for a $7 parcel. Wow. And he goes, and I have the video proof to back it up. And boy, he had me to rights right there. You know, you don't mess with these guys. They got the sound and they got the picture on you. Yeah, only $21. That's a big sale price, a huge discount from the last price. Only parcel I have, matching stones, all came out of the same piece. So you can see this is probably my close to my favorite color in topaz, and that or just a little shade lighter. You know, there's that aquamarine shade that I really like too. It makes it really difficult to discern the difference. But this, when you see this color, you know that it's blue topaz, and it's the bright Swiss color, they call it, versus the London blue, or the kind of like the sky blue, which is more the aqua color. So anyway, $21 opportunity on that. And that is exactly what that is. Okay, next I have, we have some goodies. Let me show you. Here's an opportunity to get a new mineral for your collection. It is item 104-2521. 104-2521. And it's, a type of zeolite. Let me show you. Look at this. Enolcene. And so this is a zeolite. Yep, it is a type of zeolite. Let me make sure you have that item number 1042621. Is that the number? Yeah. 2621? Yeah, 2621. And enol seam.
2621.
1042621. Yep, there you go. This is actually labeled. So now it has, by way of its little provenance, one label and then my additional label. And when you read mineral specimens, they'll actually list all the prior people that it passed through their hands. And that's something you want. You want to keep up with provenance, even on the lesser priced items, but if they're unusual, like this piece, and what makes this really unusual is the fact that it is a made in the USA, so to speak. And here's an interesting thing. When I was doing some research on this, I read that as price peak, right? That's, I think, what most people would read that. And so, having lived in Colorado, I thought about, Pikes Peak, right? So when I searched for Price Peak, Oregon in the MnDAT, which I highly recommend. It's mndat.org for a reference base. Oh my goodness. That's where you want to go for information. Nothing pulled up. But when I was doing some research, I saw one labeled Price Creek, Oregon. And so I put that in and boom. The Oregon happens to have quite a few enol seam deposits, zeolite deposits, which is, of course, related to basalt, and that's what you have here. Now, so I added on here the correction, Price Creek, and there's no other deposit in Price Creek except Two Hug Quarry. So that is the name, and there's even a picture of the quarry, and it doesn't look like the quarries that you think of. It's just kind of like a little open area with a couple little shells to dig from, and it looked like anybody could go. So it would be kind of neat because it looked there were some very nice specimens coming from there. Now, this piece, if you look at it, you can really see what makes this really different with the zeolites. It is the crystal system and the shape. So it's triclinic, but these look like they are like trapezohedrons and very well formed. If we look at these a little closer, you'll see that they have very well defined crystal faces, and there's no chips. They are complete, and they go right down the specimen. And look at that, nice clear white. And then look at back underneath. These are very, thank you, sir. Much better. Very well defined. Let's look at this one little pocket down here. Look at that. So a specimen doesn't have to be big and glorious to be a collector's piece. This is a really unusual piece, and it's a made in the USA piece. That looks good. That's a great shot of all the actual colors to this. The boys got some new toys there by way of equipment, so if you see them playing around with the camera, that's what's going on. So this, if you want a neat collector's item, one that is from the USA, here it is. And I have never seen any other enol seam like that would have been, affordable. You can see it's a neat piece. Especially, again, with the location. And that's the other thing. If you go and look up the pictures for this location, you don't even need that. You see the pictures and you say, oh, that looks just like my specimen. That has to be from Price Creek. And certainly and that's what I do to help myself spot from a picture alone origin. And I got it right. As soon as I saw that, I said, boy, that looks like a Price Creek piece. And I was right. And so, even with the cool perky box, this is exactly the way I got it, the way it's been being handed down, owner to owner. And that's kind of neat. Again, I like the fact that it's made in the USA piece. And you're going to like the fact that I have this guy at an unbelievable opportunity of only... why not? Make it only $28. $28. So if you were to set out and try to find something like this from that locality, for one, the quality of this specimen is far beyond what you could hope for in a $28 specimen. If you're looking for anal seam in particular and you don't care where it's from, well, you can expect to pay a lot more. And the fact that this is actually identifiable, it looks so just like the basalt and the anal seam compared to other specimens. So I don't know. It was just something that really stood out to me. And again, the Made in the USA part, you know how I had two primary collections over the 50 years of collecting, and one of them was made specimens, what I called the Made in the USA collection, specimens from the United States. Because remember, what first got me going was the Cowrie Valley Ruby Mines in Franklin, North Carolina. The second thing was a collection of my birthstone, which was is January. So it's the 6 families of garnets, and because I'm such a purist when it comes to treatments and synthetics, the garnet family of all the other gemstones is the only one that has avoided having to be or having been synthesized. So I really liked it for that, and very, very, very little treatments done to any one of the 6 families. So each one is so different than the other. It was like, you know, collecting a 6 different specimens. And so, you know, and then you had the sub-family members. You know, you had the Grosschler family, and then you, of course, had all the members under Grosschelite from Hessonite to Savorite and onwards. Take advantage of this guy. It is not something that's going to come by very often, nor is this next item. This next item is going to even come with a stand. Yes, Cheapskate Shawn is going to throw in the stand on this one. It is item number 113-8323. 113-8323. And this piece is one of the very personal collection items. From when we got a batch of these, this one stood out over the others. And well, actually, I'll hold this to show you. Cavinsite. Remember Cavinsite, how it was one of my favorite names for a mineral specimen, because I love names that give you information in the name right out of the gate. Cavinsite, perfect, because it stands for exactly what it is comprised of. Ca for calcium, Va for vanadium, and Si for silicon. So, boy, isn't that a great name? Right there. And Stillbite. So this is on Stillbite. And I love, out of all the other different specimens, I love just this one really nice plume of Cavinsite, and that neon color. So then you get these other little smaller crystal clusters, but that's not the end of it. You can see how you have all these little vesicles, these little pockets that, you know, this is probably gunneotite. Now, you got to write that down because I didn't put it in the information. And so that says the Wagoli quarry. in case I misspelled that. Let me see if I did. No, I think Mr. Ossoff did that one. So that's the Wagoli Quarry. And if you go and look at the picture of the quarry, which you can, you just click on it in the database, and it is a series of it's a huge area of land that has been all flipped upside down in different areas. And it's kind of interesting to see and amazing how they pull out anything without it being disturbed. Now, I am going to test Dave and see if he can't take us in a little closer, because there is something on this specimen that I could not find in the reference books, where even the entire quarry referenced anything about there being any other metallic minerals found there, like pyrite or chalcopyrite. This little group right here is, I think, going to be one of them, or this one. Let's look at this one right here. Now, I'm going to help him out. I did clean my magnifier, so let's see what we can find here. Now, what I want to show you, because this is going to be a challenge, whoever gets this specimen. There we go. Those little dots right there. Wow, great job there, Dave. And let me see if I can put this right on the light. Okay, look at those little inclusions are even inside the still bite you see. And you can see with that light, let me see if I can't, sorry Dave, move it to a little bit better lighting here myself. Okay, so you see a blade. Yeah, this is the exact one I wanted to show you. And you can see that inside that blade of still bite are these other little inclusions. They even rest on top of the other still bites. All those little, yeah, they're not dust. There is a piece of red lint behind there, I see. Okay, look at that still bite crystal. Those other little places, now they're greenish color. So I was wondering if they could be the beginnings of what would be other little cavensite formations. But I didn't see, when you really look at this close, they look like they're metallic. And I have never seen any other still bite with a cavensite inclusion. In other words, going through all the other pictures, there wasn't any still bite included cavensite. Now, I wish I could show you this other. See, this other one is 60 power, and I don't think we can get the focus on it. But let's look down into some of these other. Wow, isn't that neat? Look at that. So, see these other, there's another little gathering of them right there at the, there we go, right there at the tip of the brown matrix. And I had never seen anything else. So when I looked at all the minerals, and under the database, you can do that, for this quarry, it did not list, like I looked up marcasite, I looked up chalcopyrite. I'm not sure if that's how a cavensite begins its formation, but it, when you look at it under high power, it looks more metallic. There's no clarity to it. It's opaque. So, whoever gets this specimen, further your fun with it by seeing if you can't figure it out. Certainly, there's references to those somewhere, if it is not how cavensite begins to form. But that one crystal with the inclusions like that, isn't that neat to see that under that kind of magnification? And if you look in the MNDAT database and you actually look at the size of the specimen that's listed that they're showing, you look at these pictures and you think they are all museum quality. You think, oh, that is just amazing. Oh, I wish I had that. Well, you do. You do in your specimens, because if you look at the size, some of those are only a photomicrograph of the picture, and it may only be covering a 2 millimeter area. In other words, they are highly magnified. And of course, many specimens look big, beautiful, and gorgeous, highly magnified when you have no size reference. That's why it's always so important when you look at the total specimen length. And if you're doing comparisons, that's one of the most important things you can do is to look at the size reference. Remember, just roughly, it's 25.4, but 25 millimeters to an inch. That's really important to know. And of course, a centimeter, 10 millimeters. And so you can break it down, because a lot of them are listed in millimeters in size, to a really size that your mind can understand. There's not as many giant, beautiful specimens floating around in the world like the pictures make them look. You have to downsize it. So when you do that, a specimen like what you're looking at now becomes one of the nicer, best specimens that has been posted up on Mindat. Yeah, they have some great cabin sites and that kind of thing, and most all of them, all the great cabin sites have come from this quarry. They've spelled it two different ways, Puna or Pun, P-U-N-E. But the Wagoli quarry is the key part, and it's just misspelled in the graphic there. So that quarry, key to some of the finest, if not the finest cabin sites in the world. So this specimen, I have a great opportunity for you on it. It is only $68. $68 and a real treasure quarry on that. Instead of the quaddy. Great. All right, now, I have, since we're talking about zeolites, and have you noticed we actually have been, we talked about the enel seam, that was a zeolite, then stilbite, a zeolite. Now, this is one of the really nice personal specimens that we have that I'm going to share. 113-8523. This is a world-class specimen. 113-8523. A world-class specimen. And you're going to see why in just a moment. And it's affordable. Look at this. Look at this. Now, I'm going to put a black background behind that just to give you some better reference there. Okay, now, wow, look at that beautiful stilbite. That is gorgeous. And it has also some really nice other stilbites around it. Now, that's what makes this so impressive, is when you have this beautiful single crystal just spraying, jutting, however you want to call it, jumping out from these lovely bed of other stilbites that are in a little bit different habit. In other words, a little bit different form. This is impressive in size. Now, when you look down here, that is your celadonite. Celadonite is a, well, it's kind of related to the mica group, actually. And that gives you that really green, interesting moss effect. And wow, how beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? Look at the size of that. I had another specimen. It was a bow tie specimen, and one of all of you or got in on that specimen. Well, here is another one. It's not quite a bow tie, but it has that other desirable look for a large, impressive still bite. Some others similar to it coming out right there. Now, something like that, that would normally be hundreds of dollars, but I have a sale price on something that I have never offered before, and I am offering this guy for only $98. $98. Wow. Grab it. I do not have another one, anything like it, that I'm going to offer. All right. Now, let me tuck away a few things, and I'll be right back. Check this out. And Cheapskate Shawn is even going to include a stand with this one. By the way, my picture. Boom. There it is. All right, Dave. Enough of that now. By the way, these folding stands, that you can adjust them any way you want, and they snap apart and snap together in case they come apart on you. But that's what you get if you want something free from the Shawn Meister. All right, this is another one. I only had a couple of the vanadinites from Morocco that were from the four-man mine. That beautiful one last week that I showcased, and this one as well. Now, when asked, why do you name it the four-man mine, the reply was, because there's only four of us that work the mine, and great answer to a stupid question. All right, so look at this. You can see the size of it now relative to my hand. So it's a really nice size. And look at the beautiful hexagon shape to these crystals. And wow. Then you have some goethite as well. That's the black material. You can see that you have limonite. That's going to be the yellow color. And then on a lot of vanadinites, one side of them will have like an oxidation, and the other side often won't. So what you're looking at is that unusual effect on some. But change the angle and look at that. You have some that are beautiful butterscotch colors. And let's see, I wanted to point out, okay, that's gonna be, wait till you see what else I'm gonna show you. All right, these hexagons, wonderful, wonderful shape. Also, they're, on this one, it has the crystals in pretty much 360 degrees. You have a view. So you can have that view, which is impressive in itself, and in the direction that you change it, you have completely different views. Really like that. I really like vanadinite. And you can see the chemical formula is actually in the information there. So PB is the old word, I think it was Latin for plumbum, for lead. The VO is for vanadium, the other ore in it, and the Cl is is chlorine. So they would call it a lead vanadate. And what a specimen. You can actually feel the weight to it. So it displays fine without any stand, but I'm throwing one in anyway. Look at that. Look at that color. Look at that angle. See, I mean, wow, that's really attractive right there. All right, price on this guy, you're gonna love it. You better get it before it is gone. It will be gone at an opportunity. Never shown this before, but I'm acting like it's sale priced. Only $68 on that. Only $68. Now, I am going to show you, let's see, let me scan that. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can catch up here. There we go. All right. I have a world-class item, and it is from a period of time that was one of the best times to get a very collectible mineral out of this particular mine. It was known to be some of the well, wait till I show you. But first, let me show you item number 111-7423. 111-7423. Now, this is a collection of sliced gems, which they really are. And I will drill them for you for free if you want, or just keep them like they are for specimen, or create mobile out of them. Let me show you. So let's start off. Look at this. So all of these I've actually cut and sliced myself. And this is some really fine quality aventurine. And look how thin that is. Beautiful aventurine, which will have little fuchsite mica creating the green color and little reflections out of it. Then here is, you probably know what that is. That is Bahia Emerald. Here's a really nice specimen of it. You can really see the crystal shape of, from this slice, and the directions that the crystals were laying when the saw blade came through. And, if you just drilled that up there, boy, how beautiful that would be. And again, it is a piece that light passes through it, so it would make it fantastic in the window where we have some. Check this out. You know this, ruby in zoisite, but look at that ruby, that wonderful, wonderful crystalline shape. Real desirable. You have the green zoisite, and the black they used to call Schirmerkite, but they got it wrong, whoever the theys are in the mineral world. The actual black is now has been to be determined to be Pargasite. So that's pretty neat. But I really liked this piece because that hexagonal ruby shape was just so well defined. And okay, you see that reflection coming off of that? You probably saw this on another one. It's probably the same slice. Look, see that reflection? Well, it's that reflection in the bigger crystal. In other words, if you had the whole crystal, when you see that reflection, and if you want to scale it down into smaller sizes, that's one of the signs that it may produce a star, a stone with a star. So that's that little chatoyant reflection, something you look for as a cutter. But you can see it may not go all the way. You can see this other crystal within a crystal. So it's almost a phantom because this inner part doesn't quite reflect it as the outer part. But a really, really nice showy piece, and light passing through it, as you can see. Look at that. Wow. What a, look at that. Look at Mother Nature, how it can go from that incredible green to that incredible red and all be natural. Thank you, sir. Wow. Okay, then look at this. How many of you probably know what that is? Look at that. So that is a slice I took, and you can clean that off. I had that on just a paper towel, but anyway, you can wipe these down, and you can respray them, because I just did it with my tacky spray. This is a slice, but it is a slice from the Blue Forest, Wyoming petrified wood, and this one happens to be extremely desirable. For one, you have the chalcedony, and it's going to fluoresce. Then you have, this is neat because you actually have a section that's calcite. So that's calcite. That's not found in too many of them, but it is in this one. Then you have the wood borers. These were, of course, they had insects then, and these bored into the wood. And in the process, chalcedony would often fill in those wood borer homes. And you can see this one, and probably was a home for one, and this one as well. So it's neat because the chalcedony will often fluoresce when the others won't. So this is from the pepper tree, and write that down because I didn't have the room for all the information. This slice really encompasses everything that the blue forest wood is about, which includes the exterior, then the layer where the algal growth was right in there. Then you had the shrinkage of the petrified wood, which allowed a gap between the outer and the interior part, and that is where you had chalcedony that would fill in, calcite, agate. So a really neat history all in that one slice. Then look at this, and this is the fifth one of them. If I told you that this piece I'm going to show you was hibshite, would you know what it was? Probably not. And I may not either. This one doesn't need to be drilled. It has a natural hole right there that you can easily hang it from. And you can see that the one side I have not sprayed, but the other side I have. This is cool. This is your hydroglossular, and why it is in big letters, because I like the hydroglossular is a type of grossular garnet. It's a grossular garnet with a hydroxyl, which is OH, an oxygen and a hydrogen atom together. So it's with a hydroxyl molecule at the end of it, which really changes the material completely, and it makes it more translucent versus transparent, like other grossular garnets are, savorite, hessonite. And it changes the look. It has a hardness of 7.5 to 8. So here's a very cool collection of 5 pieces. And wow, you know, if you just put those up in stands, look how beautiful they would look in themselves. Create a mobile, really anything you want. There's a lot you can do with them. And these are pieces that I just can't do any discounting on them because the value is there. Only $77 for the 5. So that is what, $15 and 50 cents a piece, less than $16 a slice. You know, the ruby zoisite one alone is $40, $50, and the rest, go try to find ones of quality, items of quality. Go find a slice of that, or the Bahia emerald. So that alone. So only $77 on that. Now let's see, we have 5 stones. The terminated quartz, I'm not sure what that's doing in there. We have the ruby, aventurine, emerald. So if we can just take the terminated quartz out of there, we'll have the 5. Wonderful. Ruby, aventurine, emerald, and the hydroglossular, and we have the petrified wood at the top. So that covers all 5. Just the number we were looking for. Okay, so, yep, you could add another item to your list of, if you want to count hibshite, which is that hydroglossular garnet, only $77 for that set. All right. Oh, wait a second. 5 stones. I guess I can't count. Let me throw in a bonus one. Guess what, Latif? If you could add back in that terminated quartz, because let's go with, there we go. Well, you know, normally I see everything, but I didn't see that. Look at this. Look at this. So it's petrified wood and 5 other stones, I guess. Terminated quartz, it is not the shoral tourmaline like you would normally see. This is pink tourmaline going through the quartz like that, and just another neat, unusual item added to the mix. There you go. Now $77 is even a better deal, with 6 bringing the average down to less than $13 a piece. What a deal. What a deal. Okay, now let me show you a really neat, unusual item. This is 113 3323. 113 3323. And this is from Chihuahua, Mexico. That is the way I used to have to say it to myself, so I remembered how to spell it. Chihuahua, Mexico. And I tell you what, there is nothing like some of the minerals that come out of that area. Just incredible, incredible. I've been all over Mexico, used to live in Mexico as a missionary. Never got the rock hound, though, even though I was had been cutting stones by the time I was 15, well into the rocks and minerals. Now, if this looks anything other than perfectly white on your TV, then we have the color off, because this piece is as white could ever be. And aragonite can come and form like in that kind of environment. So aragonite is a polymorph of calcite, basically. We had talked about this a few weeks ago. It is exact same chemical formula, just in a different crystal system than calcite. Calcite is trigonal, and aragonite forms in orthorhombic. Aragonite was named after a district in Spain, and but Santa Eulalia, the mining district in Chihuahua, Mexico, has some stunning specimens of it. There you go, Dave. Dave cleaning up the shot, making it appear as white as it really is. So this white part down here is as white, the entire piece being one really stunning specimen. And this is just crystallized all the way across as we look at it. And when you start focusing on the individual crystals, you can see just how cool of a specimen it is. And when you compare this to other aragonites from the mining district, this is really exceptional for having very few impurities. Let's see what we have. And see, some of these are just reflections. When you see a dark area like that and you turn it, it goes away. It's just a reflection in on itself. This piece is, as I'm looking at it here, and I don't see anything but beautiful aragonite. Wow. Yeah, so Raven called this her bear. So let's see. I think I can see the bear as we come away from it a little bit. I think it's a dancing bear. There we go. There's its head. Yep. Quite creative, because I didn't see a bear until she told me. Oh, you're selling my bear. And I thought, oh, I didn't know I was selling your bear. I thought I was selling an aragonite. But I have an incredible deal on this. If you want something, you know, go look up specimens like this from that area. See what you can find. See what's offered. Just see how unusual it makes a specimen like this. I'm going to do that for only $118. Only $118. That is on sale. Indeed. Now, I am going to show you. I have had this here before. We took it back. We enjoyed it, I think, for another year, maybe longer. One of the finest specimens that you'll really come across. And it is a showpiece with provenance. Let's look at item 113-8623. 113-8623. This is world class. World class. Look at this, wolfenite. And I am telling you what, this is one of the finest wolfenites I've ever held in my hand. And it was easy actually to take this back. For one thing, I wanted to clean it up a little. I wanted to make sure, and it wasn't, there had never been anything over this. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't like, you know, anybody using any kind of spray. But here's the thing, the reason why I thought was because it has an adamantine luster. Now, an adamantine luster, you've heard of the word adamas, Greek word for diamond. So adamantine luster is a diamond-like luster. And what that looks like when in a crystalline form is a waxy, waxy, greasy type of look to it. Basically, adamantine. And that is what gives you this incredible luster and brightness to these crystals. Now, I was reading about the Eruption mine, and it said that wolfenite crystals coming out of the mines there and other mines almost always had issues with the edges. One quote was, they looked like they had been brought out, thrown in with a bag of other rocks on the back of a pack mule coming out of the mine for miles and miles. In other words, really tumbled up. But so when you have a specimen that is not in that kind of condition, that makes it additionally rare. Now there's something else I'm going to show you, and Dave's going to give us a little tour of this piece to show you some of the other highlights. And what, for one thing, in wolfenite, that this caramel color, extremely desirable. Then there's another angle to the crystals. They call them sandwich crystals because of the layered growth of the coloring. Now, as we spin this around, we're going to look for that pattern. Now, we're going to talk about this in a minute. We're going to look for that layering in the crystals, and we're going to find it, because when I was looking at this, as we look at this, you can see there's different size crystals, little bit different colors. Yeah, okay, so there is a center of a big multiple layer calcite growth, and we'll look at that in just a moment. But as we explore these, what you end up with in the crystals on the sandwich formation ones is basically, it looks like 2 layers of bread and a layer of meat in between. And it's just due to the different combination of makeup of the chemical formulas as the crystal is forming, it changes. So let's look at this one right here, and you can see a layer, different color layer on top. And as we look at these closer, here's one right here. Once you start spotting them, you can find them, and you can see the 2 colors. You can see the lighter color on either side with the darker color in the middle. Here's another one right there, the lighter color to the outside. And then there's another one right there. Once you start, your eye starts spotting them, and you know what to look for. There's another one there. Look at this one. Here's a really well-defined one right there. You can see the 2 lighter colors to the outside. Now, if that's not really cool enough, and look at the size of these crystals. They're not small. These are large wolfenites, and this, you can just feel that, the waxiness. If you ever held a rough diamond crystal, it has that same feel. And I'm going to get to Arkansas. I am going to mine diamonds before I leave this earth. I just want to go out there. Diamonds wouldn't be my favorite thing. If it was something else, that'd be cool. But there's no other diamond mine that you can do that at in this entire hemisphere. So, yeah, I want to go. Now, as we look at this specimen, and you look behind these crystals, you'll start noticing another druzy and a different color of crystal. And then as we look to the side, look at this. Okay, so you look at that and you say, okay, are those just young wolfenite crystals? No, no, you would not have that kind of difference in color. What you have is declorzite, and that is another mineral altogether. So we'll look at that in just a moment. Let's look at the white material this is on, and look at over here. So look at over here. Look at the layers of color of the banding of calcites. So that is really neat in itself. So you had layer after layer of calcite that formed before the wolfenite ever came in. And wolfenite, it is made up of lead and then molybdenum. It is a molybdenum ore. If you've never heard of that, molybdenum steel is one of the hardest steels that they make. So it's an additive and a very strategic metal. It was named for a Serbian mineralogist, Franz von Wolfen. Adamantine luster, and it belongs to the scheelite group. Now, if you've never heard of scheelite, I've actually had scheelite before. Scheelite group, for it to belong to a scheelite group, you have to have it having, well, the old word for tungsten was wolfram. That's why it's a W used for its chemical symbol. And so you have to have either molybdenum or tungsten with 4 oxygen atoms attached to it. So that ending makes it part of the scheelite group. It has to have a basically tungsten oxide or a molybdenum oxide. Declorzite is a lead zinc vanadate. So it has lead and zinc in the declorzite, and that's what you're looking at here. Now the really neat thing is, and let's see if we can show this to you. Let's look at these crystals. And wow, that makes that, look at that little sandwich crystal right there. You can see the layers of color look at that. Well, that's a perfect place to have looked in on, because look at that one crystal. You have a perfect what they call the sandwich crystal, because of those 3 layers of color. So you have the lighter outsides with the darker interior, and what a perfect place to just randomly choose, because what I was really looking at was the greenish yellow crystals. Now, if you look real carefully, you'll see where some are actually bicolor. They start off a more of an orange color and then have a more yellow green. There is pseudomorphing that goes on. Hold on, let me get my little pointer and see if I can't get right in there. And I see some. There's some right in here where you can see they're part orange and part yellow green. Let me show you right at the tip, right there. There's 3 different crystals, and I can see they're 2 different colors right there. There's also a different shape to the crystals. They're longer, they're more prismatic. And this is where it is fun. Get a mineral specimen, get out the magnification, and just start looking at it. You can spend hours. See, look at those crystals, and then look at the different color to the wolfenite crystal, so you know it's a different mineral. Wow. And that mineral I want you to study on and learn about, because it's really interesting when you do. Okay, hold on. I see all kinds of the bicolor ones I was talking about, where they start off an orangish color, and when you get reading about this material from the eruption mine, you're going to find that there's pseudomorphing that takes place. So there is a grouping of them where you can see the orange bases. This piece is a wonder, just a wonder to study and look at. See, I can see a whole bunch of bicolors. So, you know, maybe you need to move out beyond the 10 power, like I have. We're looking at 30 power right now. All right, and I see, let me just show you, because I think this was one of the most interesting things about this, was discovering these other crystals. Look at this range here. Look at how you can see the orange bases. Oh, there we go. The orange bases to them, and then they finish in a yellow-green. And that is either where it's pseudomorphing or there's a slightly different chemical makeup changing the color. But it's so well defined in some of these, I think it's almost a, which happens with the declorzite, a pseudomorph effect. And you can see in many of these a two-tone look. Not sure if pseudomorph, not sure if it's not a secondary growth that comes on top of those. Okay, look at that. Look at that sandwich crystal. See, that's what I said. Once you look at these and then know what to look for, they're all over. Look at those 2 colors. That's a classic crystal. And it's one of the most desirable forms that you can have for the wolfenite. Now, the eruption mine, well-known mine, producing some incredible wolfenites. Some of the finest wolfenites, though, at this particular mine are at, I think, they 700 to 800 foot level. Maybe it was the 600 foot level. Underwater, all underwater, no longer able to be recovered. And so the best crystals are gone. Now, this specimen, let me show you. I have provenance on it, was mined back when there wasn't water, when they were able to access those adits. This has a label on it. This label, this piece came out of a jewelry store in New Orleans. And you can see wolfenite, catalog number from Los Lamentos, And you can see, difficult to make out, but the Eruption mine in Mexico. And this was, I think, about in 1907. So, yeah, around 40 years ago, this tag was made. And you want to know whose jewelry store? If you've been here at Gem Shopping any length of time, there was a host, Alan. He still is featured on the website as a gemologist, doing some educational segments. But he had for a long time a beautiful estate jewelry store, and he had this specimen in his cases. In my jewelry stores, that's exactly what I did. I had amazing mineral specimens all throughout my estate jewelry store, and it really made a great look, and I sold quite a few beautiful large specimens, very collectible, with incredible Bubinga wood bases made with ball bearing mounts that spun under lucite domes that were handmade for these specimens. They were really, really just top quality stuff, and really enjoyed having them. Look at these layers of calcite. So you have a center matrix piece here, and then calcite that formed and filled in all around it. This looks like hematite with little drusies down here. Calcite, on top of calcite, you had declersite. On top of declersite, you had wolfenite. Some of the wolfenite is just directly on top of the calcite. This is, and the size of this is a cabinet quality specimen in every right. And it goes back to the 1960s. This piece was mined in the 60s. It's, if you look up in the 2003 mineralogical record, the Mexico Special Issue number 3, volume 34, number 6. It has a full discussion about the Mexican wolfenites, and especially from this particular location. This specimen of wolfenite in the marketplace would easily be, you know, conservatively $1,000. Conservatively $1,000. Look at this. Look at how full the crystallization is. There is something to look at on every side of this piece. And the wolfenites aren't small, they're large, and of the sandwich kind, of the very desirable color. $1,000. And you would feel like you got an amazing deal at that. And that would be an amazing deal. These specimens are no more. To find something like that, you'd have to go to a show and you would have to pay a lot of money for it. How about this? I am going to offer it at a price unheard of for what that is. And I'm going to regret it because it's not anything I could ever replace. And that's why we took it back. We enjoyed it for longer just because it was something we really knew how special of a piece it was. Wow. Okay, so the other thing when we took it back and decided not to show it here anymore is I wanted to do more research on it. Because at the time I didn't know what those greenish yellow crystals were. I didn't know fully about the sandwich, the multicolored crystals, and the calcites, and everything else about it All right, here we go. How about this? Let's offer that for only, I hate to do this, really, in the end, $388. $388 on that one, and you will not regret it. Do your homework. Do your homework. And also, go look this up and see, even in the Mindat, if there's anything else quite like it. You'll see some with individual crystals. Make sure you look at the size. You're going to see things that look, oh, fantastic, big and beautiful, but when you end up looking at the size, a lot of the crystals won't be any bigger than this. The little areas you're going to be looking at with the multiple beautiful crystals sticking out of a matrix piece, and then you look at the size and it'll say, when you convert it from millimeters, it'll be like 2 inches by 1 inch, you know, something like this. And that's what most of the sizes of the wolfenites are going to are. A piece this size, to have been brought out of the mine this is successfully from this long ago for only $388, that is unheard of for what that is. A real jewel. All right, a real jewel deserves to be put up properly. I'll be right back. Look at this. Now, if you're walking along the beach or a river, would you think much of this? Would you take notice of it? Would it grab your attention? Most likely not. But if it was sawed in two and polished, would you notice it then? I would hope so. Look at this. So this is the Withlacoochee River was mined, so to speak, by a friend of mine, Johnny, has since passed away, but he had exclusive rights, grandfathered in to a section of the river that was a really special section. And he collected these, he sawed them, polished them, did all, this is a real polish done on a flat lap. Look at this. Look at that beautiful botryoidal formation. This is coral from, 30 million, 35 million years ago. And it has been taken over by, you can see the agate in this one, and chalcedony, another form of cryptocrystalline quartz, and producing these incredible quality. Look at that. You can even see the look of the coral, how well it replaced it over time. Both halves, oh yeah, you get both halves for, ready, set, a sale price on this guy of, you're not going to believe this, I'm going to discount this. This would be so much now compared to only $38. Only $38. And I have really enjoyed the deal I had gotten on those corals from a long time ago. It was an amazing opportunity, and I did not pass it up. Let me show you. Let's go to one of my favorite continents, and that I never got out of New South Wales. Let's go to Australia. Item 112, 7323. 112, 7323. And let me show you one of the... I actually have it even in the description. I bought the rough in 1992 in Lightning Ridge. And I've told you some of the stories about some of the pieces, but especially the one piece I had found that was in a piece of potch that the miners really, they can look at the outside of a piece of opal and somehow they just know. They just know what's on the inside. This one they missed out. It's not what didn't cut this piece you're looking at now, but this was another one that got away from them, because if they would have even known it looked this good, they wouldn't have put it in with this batch that they offered me. It was a batch that cost me around, I bought it in Lightning Ridge, and there was a good bit. There was easily several kilo and of opal rough, and a lot of it was just truly potch. But there was that one piece that the middle of it was crystal black opal. I cut a stunning stone out of it, sold it, and made back all of my money in the one stone. Here was another one, and you can see that truly dark black base that it is so desirable. And this one has really some beautiful colors. All the blue that you see is fire. It's not the color of the potch. And then there is, just so you know that there's no crazing in this, let me show you. When you backlight this, you can actually see those clear areas. There we go. See the clear areas through there? And what that can look like when you're looking at a piece of opal, thank you, sir, is it could, see that? There you see that little line right there? It can look like a crazed line right through there. It can look like you have a crazing, which is drying out of an opal that creates kind of like a crack in the piece. Well, that's not the case in this. That line is actually, see that? You can follow it right through there and see it, is where the color deviates and changes. And so you have to know that, or else you'll kind of look silly if you say, oh, that's cracked or crazed, and when it's really not. Anyway, I have a special opportunity on this opal. If you want to grab it, recut it, do whatever you want with it. I kind of just roughed it out like this, and I'll leave it to someone else to finish, or leave it like it is. Truly an awesome piece for this amount of money. I have this sale priced. Look at the weight, 5.56 carat. How about doing this? I have it for only, make it less than $10 a carat. That's crazy. Let's make it $54. $54 on that one. Wow. Less than $10 a carat. And you get a suspension box with it. Always makes for a nice display that way. All right, now let me show you. Get in on this next opportunity. I am going to show you item 113-1823. 113-1823. So I have gotten a lot of different diamonds out of some different jewelry recently, and here is one of the parcels, and I have them in one of these suspension cases. You can see through both sides that way. Look at those. 36 stone parcel. They go from 1.8 to 2 millimeters, so certainly matched well enough in size to do most of anything that you would want. There's enough there to do channel set piece. They have a decent, certainly decent wide enough color in the HI range, and the clarity, VS to SI. So a fantastic clarity to work with as well, especially in stones that size. Why pay for something that you can't see, whether there's an inclusion there or not, when they're that nice a quality. Beautiful. Look at those. Beautiful, beautiful parcel. And at a carat 30 total weight, wow. If I had to go get those wholesale in the market, you're looking at something that would be $300 to $400 per carat. I am offering these now at a price. Let's do something and just see who is going to be the person lucky enough to go ahead and get these for an unheard of price in the market. And that is going to be, oh my. All right, a huge sale price, huge sale price. Make this only $130, $100 a carat, $130. That deserves an exclamation point. I'm marking that down. So it was At 188, that was less than 150 a carat. At $100 a carat, are you kidding me? That couldn't even be bought by the people that are in the business selling to the wholesale. No. There's no $100 carat in the business unless you're like me and got them in a breakout deal. So now let me show you to the other end of the extreme for for opportunity, and that is I have 2 parcels left. Item 101 1521. 101 1521. Just 2 parcels left. Remember, I showed you a parcel of white diamond crystals. These are blue. These are blue. They've been treated to be blue. But what they are perfectly formed natural diamond crystals. And let me show you. They look faceted, but this is the way they came out of the ground. And then, of course, they have been treated, radiated, however they did it to make them blue. There's everything from macles, that is the flat triangular ones, to perfect bipyramidal ones. And okay, see that one? Oh my, right there where the, that one right there where the light just flashing off of the face of it. Okay, let's do it this way. That is a perfect bipyramidal diamond. The one that is in the middle on the far left. And I wish I had a third hand. Let me try this. Because it really is, as I see this, just simply a perfect shape. And it's right there at the tip. So now I am going to remove that and keep your eyes on the prize. Let you see it. Look at that. See that? You can even see the edge. What a beautiful crystal. So this is just a really fun or gift idea to give someone else that you didn't know what to get them, because they certainly will have never seen this before, or anything like this. So 2 parcels. There's the one. They both have 65 to 70 stones. Both have a 1/4 carat total weight. And look at the clarity. It's really nice. So, wow. Something no one else has, because guess what? You can have these for the unheard of price of $18 a parcel. Only $18 a parcel. Meaning everything in each one of these is only $18. What a gift to give someone that, you know, loves gems, minerals, and, you know, if they do nothing else but keep them in the little container like they are and get them out and look at them with a loupe, well, that's all you need. That's all the fun that you need to have. And that is fun, believe me. Now, let me show you a rarity. 1106523. 1106523. This is one of the Pakistani 4. Out of those groups of specimens I got, the flats, the large, I guess, lots that I had gotten, there were 4 different minerals. This was one of them, along with sphene, red zircon, pink apatite, and this baby right here. Check it out. Triplite. Triplite. This is one of the larger, finer crystals. And triplite don't form distinct, well-formed crystals. These are crystals, but this is the way they look. They don't get big and bright and perfectly formed like the wolfenites or anything like that. Did you need the item number?
Yes, I need it.
Yep. That would be item number 11, and it's probably my eyesight, sir. 1106523. There was one small pocket discovered in 2015. And that is where these beauties came from. And out of the batch that I got, this is one of the better ones. And let me show you. See, you can't appreciate them until you really look at them because of the crystalline nature or the non-crystalline nature. You can't really see inside them, so to speak. So when we do that, look at that now. Look at that pink. Look at the translucency or maybe transparency. Anthony cut an amazing 44 pointer out of one of these pieces of rough. Look at that. Look at that color. Look at actually how big is it? How clean is it on the inside? Is it like that opal deal that I got that wasn't, you know, didn't really know what was inside that? And I cut a stunning stone. So sometimes you don't know. But if nothing else, what a fantastic, look at that pink, that pinkish orange there. What a fantastic specimen that makes, just as it is. And, thank you, sir. You're not going to believe it. I am going to offer that guy for only, you should love this, sale priced $28 on that. That's one of the bigger, nicer specimens. Go to a show and ask them for a trip light that looks like that for $28. Not going to have a lot of success. Let me show you item number 112-8423. 112-8423. This is a opportunity to get in on a real rarity. Obviously, you can imagine anything coming out of the Russia would be difficult to obtain anymore. And of course, if you have watched this show for any length of time, you know that I had those amazing Russian golden beryl crystals, or maybe more properly called heliodor, because of that actual color that most heliodor should be. Look at that. That is stunning. And what you're seeing is a couple of different colors. And you can actually see where there's a blue-green there. You have, of course, that darker natural color line. You have a lighter yellow. Look at that deeper greenish yellow there. What a incredible crystal. And there's facet grade material right in there. This, the way it is at the end, if this was a bigger crystal and it went on, this will create a cat's eye when you see those reflective tubular type of formation there. Look at that. That is a beauty. And look at this. If you're a wire wrapper, there's a natural line to wrap your wire into to hold it, to create. Look at that. What a nice drop pendant. But that's not all to this deal. This is a opportunity. This is a barrel parcel. Golden beryl, and then the other, one of the most famous barrels there is, look at this natural color. Look at the two colors between the two. Look at that. Natural colors here. Look at that aquamarine. Yes, this aquamarine has not been heat treated. That blue, that is a natural blue. Any greens in it is because it hasn't been heat treated. Look at the colors in this. Okay, and you have this beautiful accent crystals of Shawn tourmaline. Boy, look at that. And then look at the cap on that. You have another interesting way this is terminated with that other banding of color. Look at that richness to that blue. Oh, here is the coolest thing. This, right here. Look at this phantom growth. Okay, so what you're seeing on the exterior here, if you actually polished this down and got past there, well, who knows what lies underneath there? It might be a really much cleaner piece of beryl. But would you even want to? Because I think when you look at the bottom of this, to see that exterior growth like that really adds to the collector value of the crystal. And then, of course, you have these classic inclusions of shoral tourmaline. Look at that one going through one side to the other. Look at this. So I have these two, the pair of them, as a parcel opportunity. And here is an amazing chance to get in on both of these. Wow. Am I going to do this? I guess I am. I am going to offer these. Oh man, this is crazy silly. $98. Only $98 for the two of them. That is a sale opportunity if I've ever seen or heard of one. And after that, it's going to price probably, well, I probably won't sell them at all. I'll probably just keep them if no one wants them for that, because they certainly will not be less expensive. Not the size of that tourmaline. This is just a special opportunity I was offering today on several items, especially since the show got a little twisted up this week for you. So I thought I would do a few special deals, and boy, have I ever offered to them. Now, in closing out the show here, we only have a couple moments, but there's something I wanted to show you. I can't actually show you completely, but this was a stone I found in a parcel of fluorite that I was offering for $4. Where is it? Okay, yep, I'm going to show you. Here it was. You can see it was $6. I marked it out and made it $4. Pakistani fluorite special. This was in it. Oh, it's fluorite. But if I told you this was tenebrescent, would you know what I mean? If I told you this had reverse photochromism, would you know what I mean? Well, if you don't, it does, and you should. I was playing around with my ultraviolet flashlight, which of course I always have right here, UV light. And under ultraviolet light, the pink in it, I just shined it on it to see for fluorescence, because it's fluorite, right? When I removed the light, all the pink was gone. It was gone. And I sat there and watched it come back. Watched it come back. Now, I'm going to ask you a question about this, referencing something to do with this in a moment. But I wanted to show you that first. Now, well, we'll leave it there for just 1 second as I bring up your last opportunity. Last item of the show is going to be item 112-7923. 112-7923. And look at this. Boom. Look at this. Yes, if you have missed out before on the Japanese rainbow androdites, the finest, look at that, iridescent rainbow androdites in the world, bar none. There's none even close to this. And then look at this particular specimen. Look at every one of those faces. Look at that. Look at that. This is why this is the finest in the world. And this particular crystal, remember, I collect garnets, my birthstone, and I have probably did have one of the largest collections of rainbow androdite of anyone you'll ever meet. And I have shared many of them with all of you. And this is another one. This is big. It's 7 carats. When it hits the 7 carat mark, each mark like that, it's like a diamond. Look at the colors in this. Look at this. Look at the colors in this particular piece. Look at them all. And then look at them even in these the crystalline parts instead of just the faces. Look at the colors. Look at that. I mean, that is, I don't know, stunning, stunning. This particular piece has colors on every face, side. One of the really nicest pieces I've seen of them all. Look at that. All right, so in closing out the show, that, imagine that just sitting in a display case or in a, I tell you what, I'll include that with a suspension. Oh yeah, I'll go all out. I'll give you a suspension box with that beauty. It certainly is worthy of it. And here is the other part you're going to love, and that is I am making something that would normally not be affordable. Yeah, go look and you'll find that you'll get a 70-something pointer for like, well, $50, $60, and there won't be any, it won't even be a carat, and there won't be any color. You can't even see color, not even nice crystal faces like you see here. Here we go. Look at that. I was just wanting to, there we go. Looks like an opal even. Price on this, I am going to make it only $88. Only $88, and you'll have one of the finest examples of rainbow andradite that anyone will ever see at any place that you will ever go. You'll beat them out. All right, that wraps it up. We'll be back with the trivia question. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the show. We got in some nice specimens there, so I hope you take advantage of them. Either that, you know, they go back home and sit back in our collection for a year or two, or you never know how long. So, yeah. All right, so I have 3 trivia questions today, and these might be a little bit harder. That's why I added another one to just give everyone a chance to even get 2 out of 3 right, 1 out of 3, or none out of 3. It doesn't matter. Even, you know, getting it right isn't what's important. It's giving it your best shot with your best educated answer, not a guess, an answer, because you're basing it on a knowledge that you may have previously heard or something from the show. And in today's questions, I do touch on some items that were discussed previously. Not all of them, but so just do your best, or just send a comment in, and you don't have to do the trivia at all. But I was just curious, when I discussed the tenebrescence of that piece of fluorite, and I also used, the other word used for it is reverse photochromism. Now with that said, what sodalite member has a strong tenebrescence or reverse photochromism? And I have sold the specimens here before. Years ago, when I did the live show, I had quite a few, and they were of gem quality. They were cut. And wow, I would, underneath the table where it was dark, I would do my little fluorescence thing, and wow, the reaction I got, and then the reverse reaction was stunning. So this name has been given to a member of the sodalite family that has extremely strong tenebrescence. What am I? Question number 2. Triplite. Triplite has a chemical formula. Yes, we're just going to get into a little bit of chemical formulas here, but this is important because it has to do with your ability to identify gems and minerals using common, inexpensive household items or non-standard gemological tools. In this case, a magnet. Now, that said, before I forget, I'm going to give you and tell you my magnet supplier. It's a great site, K&J Magnetics. Just do whatever you do to look up K&J Magnetics. Everything you can order online. They're not expensive. They have the neodymium magnets. But, I say right now, I take no responsibility for you, sticking your hands together with them or, blowing up your phone or whatever else you might do with these very strong magnets. The N52 is what you want if you want to use it as a standard. That's the reference size magnet for the gemological studies that have been done on magnetic gems and minerals. N52, and that will that way the strength of that magnet will apply across the board for the other reference materials on magnetism. When you see how much I used it, I showed you last week or the other week with 4 different stones that all look very similar. It would have taken a long time to do a refractometer, to do the refractive index of them. Maybe you don't have an expensive $1,000 refractometer kind of thing, and you wanted to separate them one from the other. Well, 3 stuck to the magnet and 1 didn't. The one that didn't was a tourmaline. The other 3 were garnet. It took me moments, only moments, to figure that out. So, that said, there's certain, like pyrite. Pyrite is an iron sulfide. All it is iron. Iron's magnetic, right? You would think. Not in the case of pyrite. Unbelievable, isn't it? But it's the way the iron atoms are arranged, and we won't get into that right now, but basically they counteract each other, and hence your pyrite is not magnetic. But magnetite, very similar. Magnetite, wow, that's a natural, Earth's natural magnet. And yeah, so Triplite has a chemical formula of Mn, and I'll tell you what that is, manganese 2+. So it has a 2 extra little electrons, but the 2+ does matter for you to know that, because I have discussed that part. So Mn2+, PO4F. So basically a manganese fluorophosphate is what triplite is. Manganese fluorophosphate. Is it magnetic? There's no iron in it. Mn2+. Triplite has a chemical formula Mn2+, PO4F. Is it magnetic? Yes or no? Question number 3. Hibschite. Hibschite. Hibschite is a name for what mineral or mineral group? Well, I want to be more specific. Yeah. Mineral group. But the particular family member of that group, not just the big group, the particular family member. So Hibschite is a name for, in particular, for what mineral family name? Just get it right. Don't have to worry about it. All right, so there you go. 3, maybe a little bit harder, but I don't think you'll find them, because I think a lot of you are just coming along really smart. Those 3 of you, Anthony, Cindy, and Barbara, I will add your correct answers next week. So you get 3. Each of you get an extra ticket in the hat for getting it right and seeing who gets the prize, which are pretty neat. So anyway, it's neat when you have some simple tools and can discover you're playing around with a bag of fluorite and then find a piece that has an unusual chemical reaction, and that's just fun stuff to discover. So that's why these gems and minerals look beautiful sitting in a case with lights on them. They really do. And you know, all these people they interview, different people on TV, and they have these different, you know, they're at home, and I always never look at the person. I always look to see what they have behind them. And it's neat to see the ones that have a mineral specimen behind them or a fossil specimen. And I don't know, I just look always past them, because if I was going to go on, you know, a news channel or something like that, and, you know, or regularly did it and set up an office for a background, it would be a very interesting background, and it would be full of rocks and minerals. And I don't want people looking at me. I want people looking at my passion, and that would be all the rocks and minerals behind me, like you see now. I meant to get to these items before behind me, but I didn't get a chance. There's always another week. Get in on the goodies I showed you this week. Get those trivia answers in, and hopefully, if all goes well, we will see you Monday. All right, God bless all of you. Take care. Thank you so much for supporting this show, and I hope you're having a wonderful and safe fall. Get out and do some rock hunting, and if not, just get out and enjoy the fresh air. God bless. See you Monday.